Yo, what it do? Solo casting here. Um, Today with a different type of video. I guess you could say it's a memorial to a best friend, a tribute. Um, Something you guys probably don't know why you guys are looking at this dog's picture right now is, had it not been for this guy, this channel wouldn't be here. In order for this channel to be here, I had started another channel using his face. Um, this guy was my best friend. I had him for 13 years. I wasn't ready to let go, but he lived his best life. He had kids. He got to live with his kids. He went in his sleep, so it wasn't like he was suffering. Even the day before, he was still putting up a fight. He was still barking at his kids, checking them. So like I was saying, had it not been for him, this channel wouldn't exist. So you're probably like, what do I mean by that? And it's I had this other channel where I was working, a regular job, and I was going to school. I don't know if you guys know too much about my story, but I used to be a delivery guy. I'll be putting up videos so you guys can get an idea of what my life was like. I used to be a delivery guy, and ended up hurting my back later on, and that didn't allow me to work with a lot of things. But at the same time, I had started a printing business with a few other partners, and that wasn't paying the bills, so I had to get these other delivery jobs, and that's how I made ends meet. When I had moved to this house where I'm currently living, where this video was shot, I would spend all day at work, and I would leave. My dog Wesco is his name. Wesco because he was born in West Covina. Sometimes people ask, a lot of people thought it was just like West Coast or something, but no. Wesco was a compound of West Covina. While I was at work, there were no fences that could hold him back. So like my mom's fence isn't that big. So while I was at work, he would hop the fence and come and wait for me to get home. And he would never attack anybody that was walking their dogs or anything. He would just hang out on the porch. And back then my house didn't have a fence, so it was easy for anybody to walk up and hang out. Eventually, once my wife moved in, at the time we were dating, she would go and take him for walks while I was at work. And there was a few videos. There's a video of me being at Coachella. That was the first time when I asked my wife, hey, is it cool if you stay here and dog sit while I'm gone? And she was down. And what's funny is my wife didn't like dogs before. She was a cat person, so she was always afraid of dogs. But Wesco grew on her, and they became best friends. And he had all of her trust, where they would go hiking, they would go on car rides. So yeah, they got to be very close. And at that time, he still wasn't living with me. He would live on my mom's, and when I'll come home from work, he would come over. Or if he was already here, then he would come in as soon as I walked in. But my wife, eventually, when she moved in, that's when he moved in full time, and he became an indoor dog. And anytime we would go to the store or whenever we would go somewhere, he was always there with us. He would go on our trips. He was actually at our music video shoot with the whole crew. That's a good picture. I'll post that up. Um, yeah, that's the thing that not he wasn't just like, oh, that's so and so's dog. It was always like, oh, and his dog Wesco is always, it was like, oh, if you saw me, you saw him, and that's kind of how it was with, where I used to work, where and that's kind of one of the reasons why I left the print shop was when I ended up getting Mama Dog when she was a puppy. The other co-owner, my partner, he would always bring his dog and he would go on 2-hour walks and all that. So when I got the puppy, I didn't want her just, destroying the house while I was gone or chewing on power cables and causing a fire while I was gone. So there was a few times I took her to work and, my partner had a fit and that didn't sit well with me, but there was already kind of like this animosity that I wasn't trying to have, but I could already feel that. So when I decided to part ways, at that time I was going through a design school. I had, well, since I ended up injuring myself, part of the case settlement was that they were going to pay for a new form of education, right, where I wouldn't have to do any heavy lifting or anything like that, because my previous job was, having to pick up heavy stuff. So to qualify for one of those jobs nowadays, I can't qualify. So when I was taking these graphic design courses, I learned the Adobe products, Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. Like the three basic ones that to get you going, right? Pretty much. So at that time, I had already bought into crypto. I saw that Dogecoin was doing good, and my boy, my baby Wesco, it's not a Shiba Inu, but to me he was. To me he was my Dogecoin, right? So like, he was my Doge, and I saw how a lot of these, there was a lot of these channels popping up where, people were kind of talking about, current events or whatever, but they had like the little crypto or like the little stock market thing going off on the side. And I was like, well, I could do something like that since, I'm jobless now. Maybe if I post up enough videos on YouTube, something's going to gain traction. So that's how that channel started with him. It's crossed my mind to make videos and put my input and stuff like that. But I've also thought about it, using kind of what I used to do with him. Like I said, I used to, because of the graphic design courses and Adobe, I ended up trying to cartoon my dog. From whole idea kind of came from, and it wasn't like these virtual tubers or VTubers, right? Because that's like their own thing. But it started when one of my old friends told me, man, I had a dream where your dog and I were having this like deep conversation about life and stuff like that. And what's funny is that I would always say, my dog's eyes were, I mean, even the things that he did were almost like pretty human like, where he would sit shotgun on the front seat, and even people that didn't know him, they recognized the vehicle and the dog just because the dog was always sitting shotgun, so it was like, hey, there goes that dog again. They didn't know me, but they knew the dog. um, so yeah, he was kind of like this little local celebrity, and he was everybody's friend. But if he didn't know you, he would bite you. Because, yeah, that was the thing. So the few arguments that my wife and I had were usually about him, usually biting somebody. Because I would always say, no, we can't allow him to bite anybody. Like, he needs to understand that's not good. And she's like, well, they shouldn't have gotten up in his face. Like, they got into his space. And I'm like, yeah, but, they're going to blame it on us. And we're going to get sued. And it's going to turn into a big deal. But thankfully, everybody that got bit kind of knew that they messed up, and they never pressed charges. So he kind of got away with biting 4 people. And I mean, heck, he even bit me. So like, he even Well, I'm scarred for life now. I'm gonna have his mark on me for. I'm telling you, boy was a fighter, man. I was trying to break him up because he was fighting with his fluffy son that looks the most similar to him. He's very territorial, so out of all of the puppies, he would always pick on this one, and which was, I guess, the closest one to him because now he's the one sleeping in his spots. Like, oh man, it's hard to I guess how can I say, keep your composure, because if these dogs know that I'm sad or any little thing, if I break down like I did the first few days, they know something's wrong and they react. So man, just trying to hold it all in. This happened a little over a week ago, so going on 2 weeks, and I'm finally brought myself to make this video. Also, because I guess they brought my baby back today from Small Paws Cremations. One of the things that happened right before, oh no, right after, it's kind of like a blur, where that night, kind of when I picked up that something was wrong, I wanted to help him, but it was already kind of late in the evening, so I was with that whole, okay, tomorrow in the morning, first thing I'm gonna do is get up, see if I can, see what I can do. But, by that time, it was already too late. But my wife saw him before she left to work. She said he was all right, so in between that time and the time that I woke up, he left us. And I always wonder, like, had I been awake at that moment, what would I have done? And I think I've come down to the point where, even though I wasn't ready to let go, it was time. Because I know I would have panicked. I would have taken him to the hospital. I would have, not given him an easy. He wouldn't have just, left easy. I would have probably, brought him more distress. But the one thing that I super happy for is that, he left an impact on all of our lives. Like my current pets, even the cats, they all picked up on little things that he does or that he used to do. Other thing, this channel, had it not been, for him, I wouldn't have started the Siberian dog channel. That ended up turning into a puppy channel, but I also found out that doing what I was doing at that moment, there's a lot of videos that I privatized, but it ended up turning into a puppy channel because I didn't end up getting rid of any of the puppies. The people that we were gonna give them to got cold feet, and I couldn't bring myself to put them on Craigslist and give them to unknown people. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna build this channel around them. Maybe it can get some views and it could pay for the puppy food and stuff like that, and I can keep them, and it's not going to be like this crazy burden that everybody thinks about, living with a bunch of dogs. And actually, they all follow good direction. They have all learned, from the previous, from the mama dog and, Papa dog, Wesco. He was very well mannered, so they kind of, that rubbed off on them. So they're not that big of a headache. But yeah, had it not been for, that, how the way it played out, the graphic design courses, me starting that channel, cartooning him, using, him as my voice, or using my voice, through his visuals. Yeah, this channel wouldn't exist. And what's funny is when I started uploading on this channel, it's just kind of like that other channel. You start uploading things and you kind of, well, me, I kind of didn't have no direction. I'm like, okay, I like this stuff. I was treating it like a public access channel where I would upload, some of this stuff, some of that, see what kind of got views. I saw some of the mechanical stuff got views, but then I get haters talking mess, talking about, what do you know about cars? You probably don't even own a car. And just a lot of haters out there, and it takes a lot of, it takes thick skin to upload videos and open yourself up to criticism. Plus me, I leave the comments open, I was like, whoever wants to talk, let them, whatever. Whether I agree with you or not, I'm gonna let those comments fly. And there is some stuff that gets restricted, and that's beyond me. That's like YouTube has its pre-restriction, and then I have to go back and like I have to go out of my way to see like what got blocked and unblock that, and a lot of that stuff is really bad stuff. So I'm like, I'll let YouTube knock those out. Ain't no big deal. I know some things get thrown in there, like it's like a spam kind of collector. It just it collects all types of stuff, or if it finds a link, it'll say, oh, you can't post that or whatever, But yeah, what's funny, like going back to that is, like the car ride videos, the ride-alongs, that started with, with Wesco on another channel, on my own private channel, and it wasn't no big deal, but I kind of same thing. I saw Bill Burr do this like driving etiquette, and I said, oh, that's a good idea. I can expand on that, so like, not everything is my idea, I mean, the way the channel has played out and has come to it's got its own life, but the way it came to be, it wasn't I honestly was just uploading different things just to see like, what would gain views. And some stuff wouldn't gain views. Honestly, there's some stuff that I upload and I'm like, I hope it doesn't get any views, but I still wanted to go up there. Like, I guess you could consider this video as like one of those personal videos where kind of not worried about how many views it gets, but I'm kind of more, I want it to be up in the internet so that, my boy Wesco can live on forever. And, as far as we know, whatever gets uploaded stays on the internet forever. So if I can immortalize my baby like this, man, like, I know one day somebody will, I mean, it already happens where it's like, oh yeah, I remember Wesco, this and this and that, blah, blah, this story, a lot of times things that I don't even remember. My wife brings up a lot of things like, that was one of those things that as soon as he passed, I ended up being like, I think I said in one of my videos here too, where I criticize myself so much and so harshly that, sometimes it's just like me looking to blame stuff, and I blame myself the first thing, and looking back at pictures that we have on old phones and on my wife's old Google photos and stuff like that, it's like, no, like, you did. Like, one of the things was I with ever since I got monetized, thank you for the subs and the views. I appreciate it because I was able to register my old car, and even though it's got old tires, it's like I got some wheels at least, man. I was able to register it. First check I got from YouTube was $232. Not a lot, but enough to register my car. So thank you, I appreciate that. Like, from not making any money or little gig jobs here and there, like when I do screen printing stuff or little mechanical work, to at least knowing that, like, hey, this month you're gonna get something, like, it helps to keep pushing forward, and it makes you want to upload more, but man, I wasn't ready to just let go of Wesco like that. And like I said, I mean, I thought that I had not one of those things that I was criticizing myself on was that I hadn't given him a ride on the on the car since I registered it, and he used to love car rides, but like so much to the point to where I think that one video of the grocery outlet video, you could see him in the background in the car. So when all that commotion was happening outside of the store, he was right there watching it. um, but yeah, this time around, because the kids were here, the other puppies, and it makes it so much harder to, you know, take one dog out the pack without the rest of them losing their heads, and plus it's unfair for the rest of them. I always think about that. I try to be fair with everybody, right? If I pat one of them, I have to pat all of them. But I didn't get to take them on a ride in this time around in the car, and I was beating myself up over it. But then, going through the pictures on my wife's phone, there are pictures of him in the car, and she said that I remember breaking down once. I had gone to the gas station, and coming back, I think one of my belts, the alternator belt or something, gave out, pop, and my wife had to come and rescue me. So when she showed up, he jumped out of the car. And I see that was one of those things where that I don't really remember. It was one of those days where I was still drinking, so I used to drink a lot, so a lot of things that I don't remember, or that I barely remember, it's like a cloudy haze, it's like a dream. So when I had been beating myself up, I never took my dog on a ride in this car and this and that, and then I look back at pictures and I'm like, oh no, he was there. And that kind of like takes off like this hurt in my chest that I've had. Like I have this fucking emptiness in this hole, and like I tell people, it comes in waves where I'm good, I accept the passing, and then there's other times where I'm like, fuck man, what could I have done better? What could I have changed things? Because I was ready to, like, he's part German Shepherd, so like I know that they have problems with their hind legs to the point to where they give out and they can't walk, and they go on themselves because they can't make it to the bathroom and stuff like that. And I was ready for all that. We just never got there. Like I said, he was still feisty the last day, and I was not expecting it.
Here, Ash.
Man, I don't know what to say. Just that I miss my friend. We all miss him. The neighbors miss him. He had his unique bark. I've been thinking of probably, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do. But I will continue uploading. And not everything's gonna be like this. This is just more of a tribute video to my, best friend, and the reason why this channel's here. And to be honest, I didn't think Joey Diaz was gonna be my biggest video. When I uploaded Felipe Esparza, I thought that was gonna be like something that got a lot of views, but instead it was Joey Diaz. And I know a lot of my subs are Joey Diaz fans, so like shout out to you guys. Thank you for subbing. Had it not been for that, I wouldn't have got it monetized, even though it's not, Mr. Beast money or anything like that, but it helps. It helps a lot. It helps with the puppies. It helps my wife out. It's a start. It's funny because I had this channel not started, and had Joey Diaz, like, had that video not, cross paths with Joey Diaz, and he would have never called me a greedy bastard.
People have been sending me a K Loco tape. That one of those people released, one of those greedy bastards released.
So like, I gotta see this in the positiveness of, like, you know, had it not been for all of those steps to be here to where this channel's at, you know, I gotta thank the pooch, my dog, that I was able to, you know, hide behind to at least kind of like figure out the algorithm and set up the other channel in order for me to move on to this channel. So, you know, that's my boy Wesco. I'm glad you guys were here to share this moment with me in this video. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments and the views and the likes and all of that. Thank you. If it wasn't for you guys, you know, this video would just be out there, you know, without any views. So until next time, thank you. Peace out.
Una, dos, tres.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wesco. Happy birthday to you. And many more on Channel 4. Yeah, good boy, Wesco.